Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Your boy TheFlightMike back again with some brand new basketball news for you guys. Now, first of all, I would like to take a moment to welcome anyone that's new to the channel. If you're new, let me know in the comment section down below. If you happen to be riding with me despite me getting my ankle snatched by Flight Reacts, I also appreciate that as well. There will be several more reactions to what's going on coming down in the future, but I figured it was only appropriate to only focus on news in honor of Blackout Tuesday. I didn't want to bring you stuff that wasn't absolutely necessary, but since I'm uploading on Blackout Tuesday, I would also like to give you guys a link to several charities in the description down below that you guys could donate to support the Black Lives Matter movement. I absolutely stand in solidarity with the movement, and I am rooting for you guys to make a positive change because I admit that I have lived an absolutely privileged life, and I would like to do whatever it takes to even get you guys an iota closer to living that type of lifestyle as well. Now that that's out of the way, cue the music. Guys, we're going to be live streaming on Twitch tonight at 9 p.m. Pacific time. A link to that's going to be in the description down below. But what we need to discuss about first is something that really caught my eye. And a part of me thought it was quite brilliant on DeMarcus Cousins' part. Another part of me was kind of surprised that this would even happen. So for those of you guys that don't know who Grant Napear is, he's the Sacramento Kings announcer. And apparently there were rumblings about him being a bit of a closet racist. Now, I can't really comment on that because, again, this is the first time I'm ever hearing his name. I'm ever acknowledging his existence. But to be honest, it truly upsets me whenever a person like Grant Napear is in a position that I would absolutely do anything to become. For those of you guys that don't know, I really hope one day that I can be my own professional analyst, like not only on YouTube, but either on ESPN or commentating over Laker games. That would be freaking awesome. So it absolutely crushed me when a guy of Grant Napier's stature went down this road. So for those of you guys that don't know, there was a little bit of a Twitter skirmish between Grant Napear and DeMarcus Cousins, and it actually goes all the way back to, I want to say, a little bit over 3 years ago, back when DeMarcus Cousins was traded. So if you guys don't remember, at one point before DeMarcus Cousins sustained a ton of injuries that completely derailed his career, and I honestly am rooting for you, Boogie, to make the greatest comeback ever. DeMarcus Cousins was one of the hottest trade commodities for the 2017 NBA trade deadline. Eventually, he would get traded to the New Orleans Pelicans, and I guess that's where he would meet Anthony Davis, and that's how he would become a Laker later on after his injuries. But the Pelicans pretty much wanted to prove to Anthony Davis that they would do absolutely anything to get him the help that he needs in order to make a deeper run in the playoffs. So ultimately, the Sacramento Kings traded DeMarcus Cousins for Buddy Hield, and I don't remember the rest of the trade, but the main player in that trade was Buddy Hield, and everyone thought that the New Orleans Pelicans got a steal, although, you know, in hindsight, you could actually make the argument that the Sacramento Kings got the steal. But here's the thing, and especially if you're a person of Grant Napier's stature, he went out and immediately tweeted after DeMarcus Cousins got traded that trading DeMarcus Cousins was an absolute no-brainer. There has been a dark cloud over this franchise for years, and that cloud is now gone. Yeah. Look, here's something you gotta know about me. I'm a huge believer in never burning the bridges behind you. As a matter of fact, I'm in the position that you see me in today because I don't burn the bridges behind me. I treat everyone with love and everyone with respect. And, you know, saying that about another human being, just insulting him like that, is just never the move. For all you know, DeMarcus Cousins could eventually come back to the Sacramento Kings. If Dwight Howard could come back to the Lakers, anything is possible. Well, guess what? DeMarcus Cousins would end up getting his revenge because I have a feeling that DeMarcus Cousins knew that Grant Napear may have been a little bit of a closet racist. So get this. So DeMarcus Cousins may have baited Grant Napear into this, and he just tweeted at Grant Napear and said, "Hey, what's your take on BLM?" BLM being Black Lives Matter. Grant Napear responds by saying, "Hey, how are you? I thought you forgot about me." and I haven't heard from you in years. All lives matter. Every single one. To be honest, guys, I literally spent an extra hour pondering whether I should make this video or not just because of this statement that I'm about to tell you, but I hope you guys will take it as me always being real with you guys and me accepting that I am not the perfect human being and me always trying to better myself. But I didn't know, personally, I didn't know that what Grant Napear said was a terrible thing to say up until 3 to 4 days ago. And I'm sure there's some people watching my content right now that don't know either, so allow me to educate you. Because at first, I'm gonna be honest, the very first time I heard of this statement at all was, you guys remember that video of the guy with the bow and arrow screaming it as he was shooting people while he shot someone with the bow and arrow, and then he got like attacked by a huge crowd? Well, I saw what he was saying and I was thinking, okay, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with what he's saying? I do think every life is actually important. And that's what I said at the time before I did some more digging and researching. A friend of mine took the time out of his day to explain to me that all lives do matter. That's clearly common sense. But currently, given the times we're in right now, we're focused on the Black lives right now because it's very apparent that our judicial system doesn't know that and isn't acting like it is. So for those of you guys that don't know, which by the way, I accept that there's a huge possibility that people do not know, which is why I'm explaining it to you. That's the reason why it's terrible to say what Grant Napear is saying. It's because we all need to come together and truly back up African Americans in the world right now, because another good example I could give to you, just in case you don't really know, and this is for the people that don't know, again, I'm just trying to educate you guys because, again, I have a large platform to educate y'all. A good analogy that my friend used is saying all lives matter as a response to Black Lives Matter is like saying the fire department should spray down all houses in a neighborhood, even though only one house is on fire, because all houses matter. Yes, your house matters too, but your house is not on fire right now. Black people's houses are on fire. We didn't see a viral video of a police officer strangle a white man in front of a car. We saw him do that to a black man, and it was a hate crime. So for those of you guys that didn't know, I figured, here you go. This is why it's such a bad thing to say. I really apologize if I offended anyone watching. I truly mean to spread awareness and educate and inform as many people as I can using my platform, and I hope you guys could see that. I'm not saying that Grant Napear isn't racist. Again, I do not know him, but there could be a possibility that this guy had no idea what he was tweeting, because I think it's probably career suicide to tweet out something so blatantly racist, but I'm not going to allow him to hide behind ignorance. This is where it gets a little interesting, because as a result of this, the Sacramento Kings opted to part ways with their announcer. What's really interesting is what followed after this exchange. Someone goes on to explain to him that yes, all lives matter, but right now we're concerned about the lives that are being taken, which are Black lives. Surely you can understand the sentiment. And to that, he responds something that I hate this statement. I hate the typical Caucasian male saying, trust me, I have more black friends than white. I grieve with them and pray that before I leave this earth, we can truly walk hand in hand. I don't know if he's trying to compensate for something here, or I don't know if he truly didn't know what he was saying. He then goes on this mini Twitter tirade where he explains that his father raised him not to be a racist individual, and he gets really upset at DeMarcus Cousins because as a result of this, he lost his job. So DeMarcus Cousins follows this up by tweeting at Doug Christie, who's Grant Napear's partner in crime, saying, I would love to get a response from Grant Napear about BLM. Can you make that happen? Just throwing out more bait. And Doug Christie responds saying, hey, DeMarcus, you know that Grant Napear show is grown and can speak for himself. You know how I feel, so call the show. I'm here for the conversation and to further the movement. DeMarcus Cousins responds by saying, it's all love to the fullest, but I won't be calling into the show. I vowed to never help that show. I am looking forward to the response, though. Thank you. DeMarcus Cousins initially responded to what Grant Napear said by saying LOL as expected. And then Napear began to draw criticism from other social media users, players that mainly played for the Sacramento Kings, in Chris Webber and Matt Barnes. So Chris Webber responds to DeMarcus Cousins saying, "DeMarcus, we know and have known who Grant is. The team knows as well. I've told them many times and they've seen it. They know who he is." And Matt Barnes responded to DeMarcus Cousins' as expected tweet by saying, "Would expect nothing less from a closet racist." So I want you guys to get one thing straight. Do not get it twisted, because Grant Napear did not get fired for saying all lives matter. He got fired because there was already suspicion about closet racism, and it appears as if DeMarcus Cousins just gave him the perfect bait and he took it. Now, meanwhile, Grant Napear is trying to defend himself, saying that he didn't know how bad what he was saying was said, and in a sense, I do want to feel for him, but when you already have a track record of being a closet racist, you should know way better than to say all lives matter on Twitter. But if there is even the slightest chance that Grant Napear is being sincere and saying that he truly didn't mean that phrase in a way that puts down the Black Lives Matter movement, then everyone who is watching this video should learn a lesson from what happened to Grant Napear, because it could easily be you if you don't take the time to educate yourself about what is going on in our world and what is going on in our society.